Hello everybody and welcome back to Aurora 4X. I of course am Sir Beardian, and today we are going to be continuing our survey of Broken Hill to see if we can find anything interesting. Now, our fleet has recovered all of its fighters, so we are now heading back to Melbourne Jump Point. We're going to transit through and we are going to collect our tankers. Absorb. There we go. And then we are going to head on over to Australia. And do a refuel, resupply. We're not going to load ordnance at the moment because the nest is the only one that actually seems to be low at the moment. Yeah, nest is the only one that's actually used any ordnance. But looks like the actual bombers, the magpies, haven't actually reloaded yet, so weird. I thought they reloaded. Oh well. Either way, need a resupply and a reload, so that will be fine. Maintenance clock is nice and low, so that can stay as it is. That will be fine. Now, actually, important thing, I'm pretty sure that we actually have Marines who are currently just alright, I just unload all. And I've got ones in the combat drop modules, and they're gonna get really pissed over the next while they travel home. But fuck them. Okay, let's keep going. So, character group is moving home. Surveyor, it has begun survey, and we are going to continue on, seeing what we can find. Yeah, Magpie 37 has reloaded box launchers. Oh, right, it's reloaded the launcher, but it hasn't actually loaded new munitions. That's what's happening. Okay. Yeah, so basically the way it works, right, is that each launcher has the reload timer. This reload timer does not actually tick unless you're docked or at a maintenance bay, right? This reload says that this has finished reloading, but bomb fighters will not actually auto-load missiles from their carrier, which is annoying. They should. It might be because they've got the wrong missile set over here. They got bullets. They should be reloading, but they're not. So, well. I'll figure it out later. I'm certain that it reloads, but I can't. I don't want to worry too much about it right this moment. Alright, so geosurvey is on the way. Carrier group is heading home. And now we're just running industry and science. Alright, Army Group 2 has completed orders. What were they doing? Loading construction brigades. Okay, so now we need to move them to wherever the hell we're going to put them. Do we know where we're going to put them? We still don't actually have any results of these. So, at the moment, we're putting them nowhere. Can we double up the Xeno team? I feel like I want to double up the Xeno team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Create. And 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 2 teams. Hopefully they'll find out. They'll find the results a little bit faster. I can't remember if multiple teams roll their checks independently or what, but oh well. Alright, one of our Kamal Colliers has been scrapped, so we're just going to go ahead. This is a Mag Plasma Combat Drive, so we can scrap that, get some Galicite. Iron Combat Drive, definitely scrap that. Old Search Sensor, scrap that. Magazine, we can definitely keep. Damage control, we have advanced damage control. I don't think we need to keep these at the moment. Well, I'll keep it, hold on to it for the time being. ECM, we'll scrap. 16k fire control, we won't need that. Scrap. And this is an old Gauss cannon, so scrap. Okay. That is fine. We still got 3 more scraps left. Lightning Dragon's 11% of the way done. I think we definitely need to start pre-building these, because the almost 3-year build time is ridiculous. We've got 2 Joeys halfway done. We've got 2 Echidnas halfway done. We've got our Wyvern Squadron almost done. Well, bit past halfway done. We've got 2 Camelbacks a part of the way through, so that is fine. Okay, keep going. Okay. Ooh, we found a new jump connection between Cairns and Bunbury. Where is that? Where is that? Cairns and Bunbury. Oh, there's a little triangle connection here. Okay. Well, that's fine. Means Cairns is a bit of a dead end, which means Bunbury is the only route through. So this is in Bunbury at the moment. We got Henry Hudson and Thor running surveys. So Thor, there you are. We're on Grav survey, so help out Henry in getting the Grav surveys done. See what else is around here. That is fine. Let it rip. Okay, how we got? Civilian scrapping, don't care about you guys. Maintenance selling, yeah, well, nothing special there. 9 years on that guy. What's the lifespan on the Voyagers? $12 years, okay. Walter Raleigh. What class are you? Oh, that's a Wills class. Well, he's moving back to Australia anyway, so not a big deal. Let it rip. Taking a while. Okay. 2 days, 18 years. Okay, let's go back to... Broken Hill. Let's see how the survey is going. Alright, carrier group has arrived. Perfect. So, carrier group. While you're here, yeah, because normally it gives you the ground units, but it doesn't actually tell you which ones are where. So, unloads all to Australia for now. And then unload growing unit from transport to unload all growing units. Okay, well, that can just finish doing that for the time being. Failed to unload all. Probably because... Hey, no, they have unloaded all. We've got officers. Like, that looks unloaded to me. Capacity is empty. Okay. Good enough. Right, okay. Load ground unit. You know what? They can have some R&R. Everybody can have some R&R. Alright, keep on going. Now, I want to show you something real quick. And it's a perfect example of why I don't use 30 days. Okay. Let's have a look at this. Ejection system. Okay, that's neither here nor there. Alright, we're starting to work on the magazine. That is fine. And we got a whole bunch of shore leave done. And... oh, good. Jump gate building at Ipswich is underway. Cool. Alright, so this is what I want to show you. Alright, you see this. See how the increment was 7,200 seconds, 2 hours? Because I hit 5 days, even though this error came up immediately, as soon as it started doing the transfer, which would have been like a couple of seconds after this. Even though this error came immediately, the game still had to run 2 hours before it actually paused to let me know. So with automatic, a 5-day tick will automatically minimum jump 2 hours. So if there's an enemy ship 1 hour away from you, that 5-day tick will give it 2 hours worth of travel to get to your ship and basically drop it right on your lap. If it's a missile, it's going to drop it right on your face. So 5 days will run a minimum of 2 hours if you leave it on automatic. 30 days, I believe, uses either 6 hours or 1 day. Most likely 6 hours. And so very likely 1 day. So what that means is that if you run a 30-day cycle, unless you manually reduce your subpulses, if you leave it on automatic, it's very, very possible that you will lose a lot of progress on anything that's happening in these subpulses, right? So, for example, if something happened in this 2 hour period, so basically we lost 2 hours of time that we could have done to have this fleet to do anything else, because I used 5 days instead of anything smaller, right? And that is why I basically never used 30 days, because it's very possible. Now, with a 5-day cycle, it's not a huge deal, right? Because on a 5-day, it's a 2 hour block, And, at most you're going to run through one production cycle if it skips all the way through. With 30 days, you're skipping days on days and days and days and days. And if something finishes building, or if you accidentally forget to set your production, so if you have something that's only like a day away from building, then yeah, it'll interrupt it when it finishes construction. But if you have accidentally forgotten to allocate 80% of your production, that's not going to interrupt it. It's not going to interrupt it that that 80% of your industry isn't running. The labs will probably interrupt it, because the labs interrupt when you have unallocated. But the industry, that's not going to interrupt it. Shipyards, they're not going to interrupt it. Mining resource issues probably are not going to interrupt it. So with 30 days, you are skipping 6 production cycles. So if you have forgotten to do something, you're losing 6 production cycles, or up to 6 production cycles worth of actual production, if you've forgotten to do something that does not interrupt. So you forgot to allocate missile production. Well, you just lost a month worth of missile production. You forgot to allocate fighter. You forgot to allocate industrial. That's gone. You've lost 6 weeks worth of production. So that is why I rarely, if ever, use a 30-day tick. And using a reduced subpulse, well, that's the thing. If you've forgotten to do something that doesn't interrupt, those won't help you. They just slow down processing. And so it's not so much that something might happen and then, oh no, it skipped something important. It's more because a lot of the stuff that you care about is going to interrupt. The only issue might be that if you have a small detection circle, an enemy might go from outside through then inside within that cycle, and then it won't get detected at all. Right? That's the only really major issue you're going to run into with skipping. That's not going to, but you want it to interrupt, but it doesn't. But it's more about not interrupting when it should, and losing out on that. And that is why I basically never use 30 days, because you're skipping production cycles if it doesn't interrupt it when you want it to, or if you've forgotten something, or anything like that. The other thing, right? Why I basically never use 30 days at the beginning when you don't care about running multiple production cycles. The other thing involves to do with default survey orders. So, survey ships that use the Gravengear, the Survey Next and Next 5, right? These orders only run when the game is paused, at the end of the full increment. So, if this order only takes 4 days, a 5-day turn will waste 1 day of this ship's time. It'll complete the order, wait for the end of the cycle, because it doesn't interrupt when it runs out of orders when you have a default one. It's going to wait until the end of the cycle, so it'll waste 1 day, and then once the cycle finishes processing, it'll plot further moves. A 30-day cycle is going to run that entire 30-day cycle, and it's going to waste 26 days of the ship's time. And your crew grade and maintenance are going to clock up. You're going to get the full month of maintenance and crew grade and crew time, but you're only going to get 4 days worth of actual work out of the ship. It will not survey, move on, survey, move on, survey, move on when you're running default orders. Now, if you queue up all the survey locations, then yes, it will. But if you're running the default orders, no, it will not. And there is basically no situation, or extraordinarily rare that you will run into it, but there's essentially no situation where your survey will be in a position where it has 30 days worth of surveying plotted out under default orders. It almost never happens. It does happen, rarely, in very specific situations. Like when you first jump into a system and it might take it 20 days to even get to the first planet, right? Then a 30-day won't waste time. But even then, it probably will, because it's only auto-queued up 5 different objects that are probably going to be near each other. But that's the thing. That is the reason why I basically never use 30 days. You waste too much time on things that do not interrupt you. And if you're when you're up against NPRs or other things like that, then they could very easily skip through your detection radii within that minimum subpulse, like we see in here, where it jumped 2 hours. So even though it interrupted, it jumped 2 hours. And if it was a hostile ship passing through a detection radius, it will not have interrupted because technically we never detected that ship. It only checks for detection in between subpulses. And with a 2-hour subpulse, there is no detection. So that's my little rant. Alright, keep on going. Okay, processing. Just minerals discovered. 2 days. Okay, keep going. There is one other very interesting thing that I noticed the game doing. I'm still trying to nail it down. But from as far as I have noticed, it seems like the production cycle itself and events coming out of the production cycle do not interrupt on a subpulse. They interrupt the pulse, the main one, the main increment, but they do not seem to interrupt the actual subpulse itself. Because I have seen where there's a production run, and then it's a 2-day cycle because something interrupted 2 days in, and then I hit 5 days, and then it runs the full 5 days and gives you that production. So if you're really needing to stop dead on to a production cycle, you will probably not want to use the full 5 days. If you don't care and you just want to run a production cycle, then yeah, go ahead. But yeah, just keep in mind that you're very likely going to skip past the point where exactly it will finish. And you're very likely to skip over that and lose a couple of days on a ship that may have actually been trying to do something as soon as it was built. So if you need a ship to do something immediately, run 1-day cycles, because otherwise you're very likely to lose out on time for your ship to actually do something. Double humps almost. Okay, we'll wait for that one to actually finish scrapping, then we'll scrap parts. Okay. Yeah, actually, perfect example. So, last production tick was 28th of November. Then we did 2 days, 6 hours, 12 hours, and then a full 5-day cycle to the 6th of December. And that's when the production cycle did run. So, 28th of November to the 6th of December is what, 6, 7, 8 days? So, 8 days before we actually got the results from the production cycle. So you can see how using how the production is tallied up at the end of the increment, but the production cycle itself does not interrupt the increment, and the results of that production do not interrupt on the subpulse. So you'll get the results, and you won't lose production that's being built. So if you have production, it calculated based on how long it's been running. So we won't lose any build points off of in the industry build points So we don't lose anything here. We still get the full 8 days. But if we were waiting for a ship that was ready to complete on the next production cycle after this one, we would be waiting for the full 8 days. So we'd be losing essentially 3 days worth of production, or 3 days worth of work that ship could have been doing. So that is important things to remember, because understanding how the pulses and sub-pulses work, that will let you minimize and cut down on wasted time. Keep going. We got a ship to scrap. But yeah, like I said, at the moment I have nothing really essential for the ships I'm building to be doing. There's nothing almost ready to be built anyway. So at this time, I don't care about getting the ship out ASAP and getting it to work ASAP. So 5 days is just easier. Okay, so double hump scrapped. Fuel refineries are finished, and our magazine is done. Perfect. Alright, railgun velocity has been completed, started work, which is great. Oh, very, very important. We have finished exploitation of Ipswich A4, and we have 67 installations of Tech Level 3, which is awesome. Disband. So Ipswich A4 is where our construction brigades are going. So all pops. Ipswich A4. Unload all grain units from transport bay. You know what? They're going through Seoul anyway. Might as well refuel. Then Ipswich A4, unload all ground. Okay, so that's done. Magazine is done. Okay, so now that we have the enhanced magazine, so anteater, magazines. Here we go. So yeah, so we've got 2 extra hit to kill. We got 2 extra space in the magazines. It's 50 tons lighter, and it has half the explosion chance. A bit less. Roughly half the explosion chance. So this magazine is just awesome. Beautiful. Alright, and we got 8 capacity more, so I guess we can stick another wedge tail in there. Actually, you know what? Stick 8 Hornets in there. Alright, so that's the anteater copy pretty much ready to go. We want Huntsman as a missile ship. So we're going to swap out the magazines with the new ones, and we can obsolete that component. Go away. Hang on. Which ones are we running at the moment? Long arm Mark 2s, right? What's this one? 15 higher. Okay, so these are bigger. Yeah, so these are a slightly small, so they have faster fire rate. Not sure why we use that one. Oh well. Missile carriers. So we're just going to swap out the magazines. Might as well give it new armor as well. And better ECM. Not that one. That one. And better damage control. There we are. And the Mark II engines. Perfect. Overall, a nice ship. Bit of an improvement. So a little bit faster, a little bit lighter. Interestingly enough, now we can build a salvager. Okay, sure. Why not? It's like 30 build points more, and that lets it build a salvager. Fuck, why not? Yeah, conscript is fine, and supply ship, and collier. Supply ship. Hang on, why do I not want it to be a collier? Okay, because crew grade also matters for breakdowns. So I'm not going to run it. Yeah, I'm not going to run it. I think there's too many changes to make it buildable off the same one. So that's going to need a retool. I'm not going to obsolete it just yet. Nest really needs an upgrade. We still got the old engine, old mags, old armor, I believe. Old ECM, old damage control. Yeah, Nest is going to need an upgrade soon. And yeah, okay, that's about it. Okay. Dumb haven't finished scrapping, so we are just going to jump on that and get rid of these old ion drives. Of course, it now means that we can basically scrap these magazines because we're not going to be using these again. Old ECM, get rid of that. Old jump drive, we don't need that. Mark 1 launchers, get rid of those. These will always come in handy. Oh, Vospro Mag plasma drives, get rid of those. And these are old fire controls? I'm pretty sure they're old fire controls. Scrap them anyway. Size of missile loader. No, these are good ones. I should scrap these magazines. I don't know. Okay. I'm not gonna do any upgrades on these just yet. Gonna hold out. But I'm gonna put a break here because I want to get back to half-hour episodes for episodes where they don't need the full hour. So I'm gonna put a break here. Next episode, we're going to see if we can get our troops over to those tier 3 ruins and see what we can find. And hopefully, we can finish exploiting the other ruins and see what's there. And, I don't know, we might get something better. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.